this year, during the basketball season in the WNBA, you had a number of players that were making all kinds of accusations about Caitlin Clark fans and talking about how these fans were harassing them and sending them all kinds of violent threats and sexual threats and all kinds of different threats, racist threats, etc. Whether it was in Indiana at games that they claimed no one ever got thrown out of a building, and then later on that they're getting this all this stuff via social media and so forth. But clearly, there has never been anyone getting threats to the point where these individuals, these players, were calling the police and filing police reports. Well, apparently there is a crazy Caitlin Clark fan who is so infatuated with Caitlin Clark that he was stalking her and was arrested today, or arrested today or this week, Tuesday morning. Is scheduled to appear in court Tuesday morning, but was arrested on Sunday. I'm sorry, on Sunday after sending her threats of sexual violence and sexually violent messages and threats via social media. So let's talk about that. Before we start, welcome back everyone to another edition of Rudy's Rant, powered by Coming On the Podcast, where we talk facts over feelings. For those of you who are new to the channel, greatly appreciate you jumping on. Please do subscribe if you enjoy the content. Please do leave a comment, like, share the video. Definitely love having you here. And for those of you who have been here before and continue to support our channel, I greatly appreciate you. Definitely like and leave a comment, because the comments are the lifeblood of this channel. This week, we will be launching our merchandise for t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, you name it. Rudy's Rant, Combat Corner, Come On Now the Podcast. So that will be launched this week. And with what's happening in California with the wildfires, which are destroying the lives of so many over there, proceeds from sales of our merchandise will be going over to California to help people on the ground. It will not be going to the Red Cross or one of these large organizations to help pay executive salaries. It's going to go directly to people that are living this nightmare, the tragedy that's going on right now in California. I have a cousin who lives out in Sherman Oaks. She has evacuated her home. She's gone about 2 hours away. Her home is thankfully still there. They left in large part because the air quality is so bad. So they figured it's better to just leave. I do know other people that live in California, in the Los Angeles area, actually, who have had to evacuate their homes. Thankfully, their homes are still there as well, but there are so many people that are dealing with this tragedy. So proceeds from sales of merchandise for the month of January will be going to California Victim Relief. As I mentioned, my cousin lives out there, so she actually has friends who've lost their homes, lost everything. And any bit helps, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help these people. And I appreciate y'all purchasing merchandise to help these people. And of course, rocking some dope merchandise. I mean, look at that logo, man. Don't you want to rock that logo? I know you do. The Combat Corner one is dope as well. So whatever you can do, we greatly appreciate it. But it will be going to people. It will not be going to organizations. People need this. Executives' salaries do not need this. People need it. I thank you in advance for your support. Let's talk about what's going on with Caitlin Clark now. A Texas man, 55-year-old Texas man, was arrested on felony stalking charge in Indianapolis on Sunday after allegedly threats and sexually violent messages to Caitlin Clark via social media. Police records show that Michael Lewis of Denton, Texas, this is a Texas man who was caught in Indianapolis, people, charged with a level 5 felony after he was arrested in a hotel in Indianapolis. Scheduled to appear in court Tuesday morning. He could face up to 6 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. So it was real interesting when so many people were saying that Caitlin Clark fans were verbally accosting them, threatening them via social media, yet no one ever filed a police report. Well, Caitlin Clark has clearly filed a police report, and this individual has been arrested because he's infatuated with Caitlin Clark. Obviously, a very scary situation for Caitlin Clark, that she has a fan that is so infatuated. Or is that really a fan of Caitlin Clark's? Who the hell knows? You don't know. You don't know if he's a fan of hers or not a fan of hers. If you read this, what the guy's a stalker and a crazy person. But it says here, Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears of the Indianapolis Metro Police first spoke to Lewis on Wednesday about his alleged messages to Clark on X, formerly known as Twitter, from December 16th through January 2nd. Been driving around your house 3 times a day, Lewis messaged Clark, according to court documents, but don't call the law just yet. The public is allowed to drive by Gainbridge, aka Caitlin's field house. I'm getting tickets. I'm sitting behind the bench. Read another message. They said I was sending threatening texts, but the only thought on my mind was Caitlin. Read another. Other messages were sexually violent, according to court documents. Clark told the police that she feared for her safety, even before he came to Indianapolis. That's how crazy this was. She even altered her appearance in public. Told the police she never responded to any of Lewis's messages or posts. The FBI tracked the IP addresses of Lewis's recent messages to a hotel in downtown Indianapolis, as well as the Indianapolis Public Library. Indianapolis police made a welfare check on Lewis, according to court docs, told officers that he was in an imaginary relationship with Caitlin Clark, and he came to Indy on vacation. Yeah, sure. Police told Lewis during the visit not to post things like he'd been posting because the post can be perceived as threatening. Well, they continued. It takes a lot, and so the mirror says it takes a lot of courage for women to come forward. In doing so, the victim is setting an example for all women who deserve to live and work in Indy without threat or sexual violence. This now comes after a 40-year-old man from Oregon in December received a 1-year suspended sentence and 3 years probation after he pled guilty to second-degree charge following arrest of stalking Yukon guard Paige Beckers. Now, I bring this to you because so many times, many of these women who dislike Caitlin Clark were going out of their way to tell the world how bad Caitlin Clark's fans are. But they never filed police reports. They never showed actual screenshots of these messages that they claim to receive from Caitlin Clark fans. Because most of us who are Caitlin Clark fans believe that those were coming from people who are trolls, not actual Caitlin Clark fans. In this case, you have a person who's so sick and demented in the head that he's having an imaginary relationship with Caitlin Clark. So much that he drove or flew from Denton, Texas to Indianapolis and was still sending her messages after the police had already spoken to him. This man is delusional, deranged, and scary, and he belongs in a jail cell. My only message to the players who were so quick to accuse Caitlin Clark fans of sending them racist and threatening messages is that if that actually happens, you should call the police. You should call the police. You should file a police report and make sure that you have it on record. Because things like this are taken seriously. Whether you believe it or not, and you think everyone's a racist or not, to the many women in the WNBA like Alyssa Thomas and the Dejanay Carringtons of the world or Asia Wilsons of the world, if you receive some type of threat on social media, you should report it. And you shouldn't go out of your way to make sure to say that it was a Caitlin Clark fan because you don't know who it is. In this case, Caitlin Clark wasn't taking that chance. She reported it. And sometimes some people will sit here and say, well, this is proof that these Caitlin Clark fans are crazy. Yes, they're crazy about her. They're not crazy about the other women of the league. And there might be some. But again, we don't look at those as fans. We look at those as trolls. In this case, this is a demented individual who's sending Clark sexually violent messages. That's a big, big issue. So yes, this is a scary situation for Caitlin Clark. I'm glad that this person was arrested. But for any of those women on the other side who've been accusing Caitlin Clark fans of sending them messages of all kinds, I would just say to you, be sure to report it if it's what's happening. Report it. Call the police, file a report. Yet we've never heard one time of any police report. But now we have, and the person's been arrested. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me hear what you got to say. What your thoughts of this are. Obviously, a scary situation for Caitlin Clark, but I appreciate your comments, thoughts. If you agree with me, disagree with me, please let me know. And of course, as I mentioned, merch this month for January will be proceeds will be going to California Victim Relief. So please do support it. Links will be in the bio, in the description actually. And I hope you are able to support this through purchasing of merchandise. And of course, when you buy a shirt, rock it, take a picture, post it on the community board. Love to see how it looks on you. Appreciate y'all. This is Rudy's Rant. We talk facts over feelings. Come on now.